Now we want to solve an equation, and the equation has rational expressions in it. So I've already written down the problem that we're going to work on the screen. Now, just to quickly review what we talked about in class, the steps. I'll just highlight these. First, you factor. Second, you find the LCD. Third, you multiply by the LCD. Steps 2 and 3, the purpose of those steps are to clear the fractions. So when you get to step 4, you solve the equation. And then step 5, which we can't forget, is we have to check our domain. So let's see if anything can factor. It looks like to me that 10x plus 5, I can factor out a 5, and I have 2x plus 1. Now let's go ahead, before we start clearing the fractions, I want to go ahead and make a note of what my solution cannot be. Once again, we can never have a value of x that would cause the denominator to be 0. And in this case, I have two fractions with an x in the denominator. As it turns out, they're both the same. They're both 2x plus 1. So what value of x would cause 2x plus 1 to be 0? You can actually work that equation out if you want, but some of you might realize that if x is negative 1/2, then that would cause this whole parenthesis to be 0. So I'm going to make a note up here. X cannot be equal to negative 1/2. And when I finish the math and solve this equation, that's what checking the domain means. I take my solution from my math and make sure it's not negative 1/2. So now, let's look at my LCD. The LCD, once again, the best way to determine your LCD is to take your first denominator, which is 5, and then I look at my second denominator. I need a 5. I already have a 5. I need a 2x plus 1. So I'll multiply by the 2x plus 1. And then I look at my third denominator, and I need a 2x plus 1. But I already have a 2x plus 1 in my LCD. So for this problem, the LCD is going to be 5 times 2x plus 1. Now, I'm going to take and multiply both sides of this equation by this LCD. I'll put some brackets on the left-hand side. Multiply by 5 times 2x plus 1. And the right-hand side, 5 times 2x plus 1. The left-hand side, you have to distribute the 5 times 2x plus 1 to the first term, and you see the 5's cancel out, and you're left with 2 times 2x plus 1. And now, when you multiply it by the second term inside those parentheses, actually the whole LCD cancels out, and you're simply left with 4. And then you go to the right-hand side, and the parentheses, the 2x plus 1 cancels out, and you're left with 35. So now this looks like a not too difficult equation to solve. If I multiply out the parentheses, 4x plus 2 plus 4 equals 35. 2 plus 4 is 6. Subtract 6 from both sides. You have 4x equals 29. Now to solve for x, divide both sides by 4. And the solution should be 29 over 4. Now don't forget to check the domain. What did I say the solution cannot be? The solution cannot be negative 1/2. But I'm saying the solution is 29 over 4. And we're okay with that. And that should be the solution. All right, so that's solving an equation with rational expressions.